Welcome to another episode of The Construction Leading Edge. My name is Todd DeWalt, and my job on this podcast is to help you grow your leadership and business skills, grow your business, and grow your income. In this episode, I interview a very interesting guy. His name is James Benham. He is the CEO and co-founder of JB Knowledge, as well as a few other technology companies, and he's really out to help construction companies conquer technology. There's lots of great solutions out there. And in this episode, we talk about some of the exciting new technology that's coming to the construction industry. We talk about common mistakes that contractors make when it comes to technology. We go after a sacred cow, and we talk about why Microsoft Excel is a problem and some of the other alternatives that are out there for us, as well as some basics for you if you don't even know where the hell to start when it comes to technology. This episode is brought to you by two software providers that I've partnered up with. One is Archisnapper, and they are a great application for doing job site inspection reports. Basically, if you need to do a report and to get pictures into a document with text, it is frankly the best thing out there that I've found for that. And also, it's brought to you by T-Sheets, some good friends of mine out in Idaho. They have probably the best time tracking solution out there. I used it for several years, loved it. They're great people. So they're sponsoring this episode as well. So without further ado, here is James Benham from JB Knowledge. Enjoy. Okay, well, we have James Benham on the podcast today. James, how are you doing today, sir?
Outstanding. Glad to be here.
Great. Well, do me a favor and just give a brief introduction of who you are, what you're into, and how you're connected to the construction industry for us.
Absolutely. Glad to. Thank you so much for having me on today. Again, my name is James Benham. I'm CEO of JB Knowledge. We're a 165-employee construction and insurance software company headquartered out of Bryan College Station, Texas, right here in the middle of the Texas Triangle. We've been in business since 2001, building solutions for the industry. We largely work in the pre-construction sector, but also delve pretty regularly into active projects. We work for about 700 construction companies, and we do consulting, we do advisory, we have products, 4 products, the main one being Smart BidNet, and we also have outsourced development operations where we'll actually build custom solutions and operate them and host them for clients. So that's really the long and short of who we are. I do a good bit of professional speaking out there. I speak out at about 35 to 40 conferences a year. We do a good bit of research around the use of technology by construction companies, including our annual technology report. And I get out and talk about the results of that as well as the trends I see going on in the industry in regards to technology, what I think is coming. And we also release results of what we work on in our research and development labs here in Texas.
Perfect. Well, speaking of the trends and what you see coming, tell us about some of the most exciting developments that you see specific to the construction industry when it comes to technology. What's coming that people really need to be aware of?
Oh, the list is pretty long. You know, of course, one of the things I'm most excited about is computer vision. That's the ability for computers and technology devices to see, not just with a single camera, but in stereo and to scale, which of course allows them to do all kinds of great things for us in the industry, including interior 3D scanning much quicker than the current technologies on the market, and in some cases just as accurately or more accurately. Technologies like photogrammetry that allow us to convert 2-dimensional photos to 3-dimensional objects. Certainly drones excite everybody. I just purchased my 5th drone in our drone fleet, and we use it pretty heavily. We actually write software for drones that rips the image stream off the drone and brings it in for things like photogrammetry and augmented reality. So I'm really excited about the promise drones deliver, not just for taking photos, taking videos, and 3D scanning, but also for actually physically moving materials and conducting labor tasks. Pretty popular video on the internet has been circulating of drones constructing a bridge autonomously, which should tell you how far they're going. And then, of course, I and many other people are super excited about 3D printing because we believe it represents a fundamental shift in the way that we build buildings. Certainly whole building 3D printers already exist and are already in use. In research, we have about a half dozen 3D printers here at headquarters, and we're building a gigantic 15-foot by 5 by 5 foot 3D printer to print furniture or anything else out on, and also does CNC routing. So I'm super excited about that. And that's on largely on the hardware side. And of course there's software that drives 3D printing, scanning, and such. I'm also really excited about on the hardware and software side, augmented and virtual reality, which Microsoft is calling holograms through their new device HoloLens, as well as some of the augmented and virtual reality products we've been producing with our app called Smart Reality. I'm really excited about being able to take 3D models and democratize them by getting them out in the field and allowing people to just take a device with a camera on it, point it at an object, and have it overlay the BIM data and BIM models right on top of that object where that model is supposed to be built. From a pure web-based and mobile application perspective, I'm super excited about real-time applications that allow you to exchange data between the field and the back office without clicking save buttons or refresh buttons or sending emails, but truly cloud-connected, cloud-based applications that are all real-time. I think real-time technology is going to really shorten up a lot of cycles like the RFI process and the punch list process and a lot more like it. The plan file, viewing, annotation, job site photo process, all of those are big, and something that has been something we've been experimenting with, along with our worker activity tracking. We actually combined worker activity tracking, and we combined real-time applications and job site annotation and photos into an app we call Build Stream, and that's in our labs. So I'm really excited about what all of that brings with it, even down to worker biometrics. The new Microsoft Band 2 does a fantastic job of scanning workers' heart rates and skin temperature and UV exposure, and even just giving you things like air pressure and other sensors now. So some really exciting changes in the area of wearables that are going to help out with job site safety and job site efficiency tracking.
Well, that's a lot. I'm not sure where to start there. You just threw a lot of stuff at us. What are some of the more basic things that are coming that every construction business owner needs to focus on? If there are one or two things, whether it's drones or 3D printing or holograms, what's the one or two things that they really need to be looking at?
Well, you asked for a longer-term outlook, and so there's a lot going on in the industry right now on a long-term perspective. If you look in the short term, one of the best things they can do first is deal with their budget. In our annual technology report, we found out construction companies, yet again, are spending 75% less than cross-industry averages on technology, which means that we're really grossly underspending. And not just that, 40% of the companies that we surveyed don't even have technology departments. So if you want to start with basics, let's start with the basic of basics, and that is actually have technology staff. Take technology seriously, form a technology department or a technology steering committee, and actually dedicate enough budget to it to actually make a dent in the project requirements that have coming up. Beyond that, I think a nice simple step a lot of guys can take is audit low-hanging fruit processes. These are processes that are easy to automate that they just don't do, like plan file management, safety management, RFIs, daily reports. All of those are very easy processes to automate with dedicated applications. And so if a company was trying to start out step one, first they should address their budget, they should address their technology leadership and performance, they should address having a technology steering committee, allocating some money towards technology and experimentation, and then taking the first step by addressing easy to fix problems with easy to implement software apps and applications.
Let's barbecue a sacred cow here that I know is sacred to probably every construction company, at least in America, and that's Excel.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, we've all used it. It's on everybody's machine. What are some of the problems with Excel, and give us some new lenses to look at the world through that maybe don't involve Excel? What are other what are the problems that Excel is solving that there are better solutions for?
There's a lot of them. I mean, we could tackle, if you look at our survey, Excel is in the top 3 to 4 answers on every single segment of software, even including accounting software. We found out there's about 6% of the 2,000 companies we surveyed that do all their accounting on Excel.
Wow.
And that should just scare the heck out of you.
Yeah.
Excel is a really great ad hoc computational spreadsheet program. It's meant to import data very quickly, to massage that data, to produce some basic reporting, to allow for mass data manipulation and exports. It's a great ad hoc computational tool, but there's just a laundry list of reasons why it's terrible for enterprise-grade software. I have a whole hour-and-a-half presentation I do just on this topic, and even that doesn't do it justice. There's a laundry list of technical reasons why you shouldn't. It's much more difficult to secure, to store, to manage data, to report on data that's in a bunch of disparate Excel sheets. It's a challenge for IT administrators. Spreadsheets walk out the door a lot more easily. They get lost a lot more easily. Macros that are embedded in Excel sheets very commonly carry viruses and can infect corporate networks. It's just, when you ask someone who does all their estimating, it's a really common task, is to do all of your estimating or scheduling on Excel. If you ask them to run reporting across their last 30 estimates, it can actually be a big challenge. The other really fundamental problem is that Excel is fundamentally, it's dumb, right? It doesn't know construction. It only knows what you explicitly program into it. And so if you miss a scope on an estimate, it doesn't know that you did that. I had a contractor in South Florida tell me they left Excel sheets for estimating, and I thought they were telling me they were implementing an estimating system. They were actually telling me they went back to paper because Excel, they used an Excel sheet for estimating and it missed a scope. What really happened is someone inadvertently deleted a cell from a formula, and it screwed up their bid, and they lost the project, and so they went back to paper, which is just an atrocious.
That's terrible.
Thought.
Yeah,
it really is terrible. But Excel just doesn't know better. It's like a child in a sense. I have 2 children, and if you haven't taught them that, they don't know any better. The Excel sheet doesn't speak construction, and unless you program every potential contingency, then you really have a tough time. You also you have this concept where data is not centrally stored. And is very often, even if you use Office 365 and Excel in the cloud, it'll often be downloaded, and you have a big data leakage and data security problem. So there's just a laundry list of technical reasons why it's bad, and then from business process, there's a laundry list of reasons why it's bad. And you very commonly lose, that Excel guru. He'll leave or retire. He'll take Excel sheets, his or her Excel sheets with them. And then you're really hosed as a company, and so that's where enterprise-grade software, or even applications that are really for citizen coders. Excel has created a bunch of these citizen coders. That's a phrase that was coined by, or at least that was used recently by a guy at Intuit QuickBase. QuickBase is a good example of a web-based application that allows you to basically build your own apps that can be deployed into mobile and on the web. And it creates citizen coders, but it solves a big problem in that it allows all the data to be stored and secured and managed centrally. They're still only as intelligent as the programmer who programmed them, so if the programmer doesn't program in protections against things like, moving a cell out of a formula, you can still be in trouble. And of course, that's the role that enterprise-grade software plays. And there's a lot of really simple processes that could be moved to just mobile apps that are currently used for Excel. I mean, punch list is one of them. RFIs are commonly managed in Excel. There's just a ton of apps. You could look at Smart Use or PlanGrid, or there's quite a few of these mobile apps out there that can handle those types of uses and functions much more efficiently, and they speak construction. They understand what you're supposed to have, what you're not supposed to have, and that's just the short end of the list. You have Bluebeam and a lot of others that can automate those really simple processes.
You mentioned mobile devices and shifting from Excel to mobile. As you mentioned, we in the construction industry are on the late adopter end of the curve when it comes to technology. Speak to the person out there who's late to the game and doesn't really see the value or doesn't understand the value with mobile devices on their job site. Talk to them a little bit about what a mobile device, what shifting to iPads, iPhones, Androids on their job sites would do for them.
Yeah, I mean, I don't even think this is a debate anymore. I've told companies if they're having a steering committee to decide if they should use mobility, they need to disband it and just buy the devices. The iPad or the Android tablet, or even better, the Windows Surface Pro 4 is the new hammer. You don't debate the use of a hammer on a job site. You know it has utility and value, and there are companies I've seen that will buy a $1,000 power tool but won't buy a $500 tablet because they understand the utility that a power tool brings them and really don't comprehend the utility that a tablet brings them. I think that the Surface Pro 4, it really brings a lot to the table here in easing people's minds because it serves as a full laptop or a tablet. I jokingly call that like a tap top or a laplet. But it really is fantastic because it can replace their desktop and their laptop, and it acts as a tablet, which is why we're really not going to call it mobile in the near future. It's just going to be your computer, and your computer will serve as a tablet or a laptop or a desktop through a docking station. And then you have your smartphone as well. So there's really not a lot of room for debate. Digitally capturing data in the field and originating the data digitally and never using paper is far more efficient, far more accurate. You can gather, collect, store, aggregate, and report the data in real time. And people do a lot less manual reentry, and there's a lot less reentry mistakes. Plus, they have real-time mobile access to everything they need. And with today's LTE networks and Wi-Fi networks and the improvements that are being made there and in mobile devices, it's really a fantastic set of solutions at a very low cost. I mean, a personal computer in 1983 used to cost $23,000 in today's dollars, and the iPad or an Android tablet, you're talking about $500. So, I mean, the cost for computing now is way lower than it ever has been, and we've got ridiculous amounts of network connectivity to those devices. There's really no excuse to be keying things in on paper. And if you saw the Surface Pro 4 release, you can see they're helping this transition even more by having different types of pens and pencils that can write on the screen and produce a different type of ink. So they're really simulating a paper experience with it, and really awesome. I mean, really awesome. So there's some great hardware tools that are making this very easy to decide on, and I think that the application universe, the app universe for mobility, I mean, we were one of the first 10 construction mobile apps 7 years ago, and now there's just hundreds. And that's just proof that there's a great app universe to pick from. There's a lot more things you can do on your mobile device other than just take photos and send email. And the cost is so low that I think you're foolish to not buy them.
Well, let me ask you this. Let's say I'm bidding on a project. It's a $20 million office building project. I'm a general contractor, and I'm putting the finishing touches on my bid. What hardware should I buy? What are 2 or 3 things that I need to put in my budget, whether it's tablets, Wi-Fi on the job site, drones, 3D printer?
Yes.
What are what are the things I should? What are the things I need to put on my bid sheet?
I say D, all of the above.
All of the above.
Drones. I think that every company should have a drone or 2 or 3.
Why is that?
You gotta be really careful because just for taking existing condition photography, they are so good at taking existing condition photos and videos. I think that there's definitely a great case for using drones just for existing condition photography and videos. You just gotta be really careful how you use them and for what purpose, because the FAA has released a whole bunch of regulations that are all at knowbeforeyouFly.org. I don't think you need a drone for every job. You need a drone for every concurrent job in the phase in which you're going to take photos and videos. So I think drones are something that deliver use immediately. I think tablets your company should already have them. So, I mean, do you need to put them on the project-specific budget? You might if you're adding staff for that project. So you've got to decide, what works best for you there. I definitely think, depending on what trade you're in, if you're a general contractor or a subcontractor, a really great automated or digital layout product like a Total Station they're delivering enormous amounts of value on the job site. Certainly, job site-based Wi-Fi or at least LTE connections in every device is critical at this point, so you can actually take advantage of all of the mobility apps that are out there. So either job site-based Wi-Fi or LTE tablets, then your drone that you should have per concurrent job, your layout system, and then definitely your scanners, either a FARO or an equivalent system that allows you to produce 3D point clouds of existing interior structures, and then, of course, to produce an accurate as-built when you're done. I think those are critical tools. You should also, in your budget, of course, have budget for the licenses for your daily report software, your photography software, your plan file handling and management software. If you're using BIM on the job, which of course I hope you are, maybe a BIM 360 and 360 Glue subscription, so you can have your model be portable and usable on the job site and the project. And then certainly if you have bidding needs on that job, a product like ours at SmartBid could handle all the bidding. So you have your standard software suite of things like SmartBid and things like Raken for daily apps, or NoteVault for voice recorded notes, or you can run through the laundry list, Plan Grid for plans. All those things have per job or per user licenses that will be needed on new jobs, and then the hardware that's necessary to run the mobile apps, to have job site connectivity, and to scan and lay out and produce great as-builts when you're done.
Drones. How much should one expect to spend on a drone, and where are some places they can go to find them?
Man, all right, so I'm 5 drones into my drone habit, and I absolutely love them. The one I just got is by far my favorite. I really love it. The DJI Phantom Professional 3s, the Phantom 3 Pro. Takes 4K videos, super high-res static imagery, all onboard controls on the remote. Has a self-flying mode, so it can fly itself if you map the route out. It does some really great stuff. So that's about $1,299, $1,299. I like staying in the lower end of cost. The Phantom's great because it's an all-plastic chassis, plastic props. So if it crashes or if it falls, it's not going to cause a lot of damage. It's not that heavy. You'll probably lose your drone, but you won't hurt somebody unless it falls directly on their head and they're not wearing their hard hat. So you certainly have to worry about that, about injury. Some of the larger hexcopters and octocopters are carbon fiber and metal frames and much heavier, much bigger carbon props that can actually really hurt somebody. So I like the Phantom 3 Pro because it really gets the job done. It's a small form factor. It's $1,299. If you want to go a step up, the Inspire from DJI is about $3,300, and it has a fantastic mode called dual controller mode that just is mind-blowing. It allows the legs actually retract up so they get out of the way so the camera can swivel all the way around. So you can actually have a pilot for the camera and then another person that has their own remote just for the quad. So you can have a 2-person operation, one person flying the quad and another person flying the camera. And that's particularly useful, but it is better done as a 2-person operation, and it is about 3 times as expensive. So I think the Phantom 3 Pro, now there's a lot of knockoffs. I just love the Phantom series, and we've actually written software for it because they have a software developer kit, and you can actually rip the video stream off the Phantom and bring it into your own application. So there's some really cool things you can do with that, and it's low cost. Delivers a very high quality product. I was actually flying it about an hour ago.
Very cool. Job site Wi-Fi.
Yeah.
Does that involve setting up robust construction grade wireless access points that are connected with Cat 6 cable, or how does that work? So job site Wi-Fi. I really think that we have to take a little different approach to job site connectivity. Look, the building you're building is going to need connectivity when it's done. And what I'm starting to see a little bit of that I'd like to see a lot more of is
builders working with owners to have the telecommunications infrastructure when possible, to have the telecom infrastructure be installed pre-construction, at least to the edge of the site, so you can drop a line and have a wired connection to the job site, and then build a system, a wireless mesh network with a system like Meraki. I love Cisco's Meraki offering because it's very easy to manage. You can go into a web browser and manage all of your Meraki endpoints. It can control bandwidth. It does a lot of very neat stuff, and I think that I think that we've got to take it, we have to take connectivity very seriously. If you can't get a wired connection to the job site, certainly the next best thing is a LTE hotspot. You could place those around the job site, or baking LTE directly into the Surface Pros, the iPads, and the phones, which would preclude the necessity of a hotspot. But if you have a complex steel structure, sometimes it can interfere with the connectivity out to a cell tower. So you could also do microcell repeaters that repeat the LTE signal. So there are a lot of options there. It's just it has to be taken seriously. My number one preference is to work with the owner and to partner with the telecom provider to get connectivity out to the site pre-construction, so you can actually have a really good wired pipe out there.
Makes perfect sense. Let's shift gears a little bit. You're obviously a pretty innovative guy. You've attacked a lot of big problems and are continuing to attack a lot of big problems. Tell me about your thought process when developing a new technology. There's a couple different approaches. One would be, do you come up with a great idea and then try to find a need for that idea? Do you go look for problems and then try to come up with solutions? How do you how do you see the world when it comes to solving problems and coming up with innovative solutions?
Yeah, it's funny. I think about the phrase, is this a solution in search of a problem?
Yeah, there's a lot of those out there.
There's a lot of those out there, and you really always want to be looking for pain, right? The objective is to seek out pain and to fix that pain. Now, sometimes you're fixing the pain with a solution that is so innovative that people don't understand how it translates to the pain they currently have. And I really felt like in a lot of cases in the 2007, 8, 9, 10, 11, Apple was doing a lot of that. And you look at Tesla right now. They're solving pain points that we knew we had, but didn't connect the pain to the solution. I mean, like today was a huge day. Yesterday for Tesla, they released autopilot to all of their cars yesterday. I mean, yesterday, it's the year 2015, and we have cars that can legitimately drive by themselves on the highway. And that happened yesterday. And we all knew we had that pain point, but the way that Tesla has approached that solution has been really fascinating. You're essentially driving a giant iPad. It's basically what the Tesla is. It's a battery-powered iPad with 4 wheels. It's incredible. It's very safe. It's the only car that's ever gotten all 5 stars on every single section of a rating. I mean, it's really blown a lot of minds. And so I look at guys like Apple and Tesla, and I think, okay, we have to solve a pain point in some way, shape, or form to bring efficiency. I mean, there's always pain. Even in the most efficient process, there's still pain. There's still bottlenecks. And so sometimes you chase bottlenecks, right? And sometimes you chase obscure pain. When we came up with our augmented reality and virtual reality platform, Smart Reality, we know the ultimate pain point. And the pain point is that people suck at visualizing things. They really, really do. And we're trying to bring visualization into the field so they can see the model in line, in place, to scale with what's going to be built. And but the solution is so far-fetched and so out there that it's hard for people to really translate to how they get there. They almost need, it's almost step 4, and they're on step 1, and they have to connect the dots with 2 and 3. And so when we develop new technology, sometimes we try to be really far ahead of the game. I mean, we were the first application by 4 years that had a mobile app for bidding, because we knew that bidding needed to be done out in the field too. That you'd have a project, you got to bid out a trade, you got to bid out a package, and you see a sub, and you need to add them on the phone right there, and then bid job out to them. So we got aggressive with mobile apps there way early because we wanted to be ahead of the game. Same with augmented and virtual reality. Our other platform build stream that's on our labs website at jbknowledge.com/labs. Build stream is, I'd say it solves major pain points with worker activity tracking, with job site photography, with interior positioning. We actually create an iBeacon network on the job site. It solves major pain points in a way that hasn't been done before. And so you have to do a lot of translation for people, whereas we have other products like our compliance product, Smart Compliance, and our pre-qualification product, Smart Insight, that are definitely step two. Our clients are on step one, it's step two. There is no translation required. You show the product and they go, wow, it's a lot better than what I have. It solves these 5 pain points, and it's secure, and you're not stealing my data, or you're not sharing my data. And you provide a great product. Sounds great. Let me sign up. And so we definitely do step 2 development and step 4 development all at the same time. You know, we want to show people what's going to be there in 3 or 4 years, and we want to show them what's here right now. We're doing R&D work on that whole food chain. Because certainly we don't want to be rendered obsolete, and we want to remain relevant for our clients, and we want to show them a vision of where we want the industry to go. It's why I do so much speaking as well, is I want to help shape the direction of the future of the construction industry, and one of those ways is to go speak to 5,000 people a year, and to run a blog and, you know, share information with as many people as I can. So that's really how we approach it, is we say, let's solve some step 2 problems, and let's go solve some step 4 problems, and let's make sure that our customers and prospects and beta users know what pain point we're addressing, and then we really do a rapid iteration process. So we seek out what we in the software business call a MVP, minimum viable product. We spend as little time as possible getting to the MVP so we don't burn cycles. We present the MVP to a beta group, let them test it, and then let them iterate each month while we produce the critical features that they identify. Because once people get their hands on technology, then they'll really start to turn the knobs. When you're in the discovery phase and they don't have anything to actually work with, you don't get it done nearly as accurately. So you're much better off building something small and usable, and then collecting feedback and iterating quickly.
Tell us a little bit about COSA, the Construction Open Software Alliance. It's my understanding you've been working on this for a few years. What is that, yeah, and why should construction business owners and leaders be concerned about that?
Yeah, so we just rebranded it to Construction Open Standards Alliance a couple months ago because we are developing open standards. We took over the AGC XML effort. We're now partnering up with some more folks. I think we're up to 23 or 24 construction software members. Our members lead the subcommittees, and we develop standards for exchanging data in common XML and JSON files. And so construction companies should definitely care, because it allows them to really get their hands around exactly how to integrate different apps together. Construction companies spend a lot of money integrating apps, or, you know, the top 2 ways people integrated apps in our recent survey was through either manual data entry or Excel, and that's not acceptable. And so, you know, COSA's objective is for everyone to have a application programmer's interface, an API, that has data calls that are using the standards-based formats for data exchange, so that software company 1 can connect to software company 2 and speak the same language out of the box, and there's no custom programming required and no lengthy integration projects. So a lot of construction companies will build their own in-house product, and it's equally important for them to understand the standards so that when they build their in-house product, it can freely and openly exchange data with all the off-the-shelf software without a lot of customization.
Makes perfect sense. Sounds like a cat herding exercise to me.
If there ever was a cat herding exercise, it is this, because you're recruiting competitors, and you have companies that actually compete against each other that are in the same alliance, but our sole objective and purpose is to bring our industry together so it's easier for our client. We want the client to win. And yeah, you're herding cats, but they're good cats.
So is this something that if a construction company out there is looking at implementing a new app or software package, is this something that they should ask about? Should they?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
I mean, there's like 23, 24 of us now. So just go to COTA.build. And if you go to COTA.build, you can click on members and you can see who's part of the alliance. And you can select progressive software companies that are going to be out there trying to integrate with each other. You'll have a reasonable assurance that they're going to hopefully have an API and hopefully use data standards that allow them to integrate with each other. And several of the members already do integrate with each other. I'm looking at the list right now, and you know we have a great relationship. SmartBid does with Stack and eSub, and I know that several of the guys have relationships between the time card programs and their project management systems, and then we have a few of these guys that exchange RFI data with each other in the same format. And it's made a big difference.
Interesting. I did not know that even existed, so I'll definitely keep an eye out for that. That makes a lot of sense to make sure that your seemingly disparate apps would talk to each other and trade information back and forth. Well, one more question I want to ask you before we wrap up and tell people where they can get in touch with you. So that question is, we want to tell construction business owners, what's a risk that you see that people need to be aware of that maybe they're not aware of? What's a risk to the future of their business that could eat their lunch that they're probably not aware of?
Well, if you're really referring to like technology risk management, is that what you're inquiring about?
Well, either something they're missing out on or something they need to be aware of.
If you're looking at, yeah. So my wife says I have a bad case of FOMO, fear of missing out. That's why I always like to be in the mix of things, and certainly it's why I work late hours. And I would say, as a company, we should all have FOMO. No one wants to miss out on the next innovation. It's a cartoon I show at every speaking engagement. It's a picture of a sword, a soldier with a sword in his hand. He's in a sword and arrow fight, and there's a salesman with a machine gun next to him. And he says, "I don't have time to talk to you, salesman. I got a battle to fight."
Right.
And that is the definition of missing out, right? That's it. I mean, that's the definition. I'd say over half of our construction companies that we survey are using BIM actively. If you're not, it's time to get with the program. Over 65% of our survey respondents have deployed tablets to the field. If you're not, it's time to get with the program. Even if you haven't figured out which apps to use, get the hardware. Because once you have the hardware and the infrastructure in place, it's a lot easier to deploy solutions. I was just consulting with a company this week who has iPads and iPhones in every field worker's hands, and all they're doing is email and web browsing with it. And that's fine. At least they took the first step, because now deploying apps to solve their problems is going to be a lot easier.
Sure.
And so definitely get with the program on BIM, get with the program on mobility, and start looking at Excel, places where you're using Excel and paper, and looking for mobile apps, web-based apps that can replace those processes. Even if they're not the perfect process, start dealing with your low-hanging fruit. On data, you talked about risk, so I have to talk about data security. You have to have some type of data security plan. You have to have enterprise security. You've got to have a mobile device management, called MDM solution that can manage your mobile devices. You've got to take data security seriously. Data security on your computers, and data security in the cloud. And what we found is people were paranoid about cloud breaches, and they have no on-site data security systems. And so they're actually at more risk of the data. They have their own local computers. So I'd say first, get serious about BIM and mobility and about all the technology we talked today, but also really get serious about data security and protection, because as you implement this, even right now, those Excel sheets on that Windows XP computer that have an outdated virus protection and no data security system, and those 10 iPhones you have connected to that network, those are huge security risks. So you got to deal with data security. You got to deal with the major apps, and then you got to get serious about getting rid of paper and Excel. And of course, to do that, you've got to allocate a budget. And if you really want to be progressive, hire one person or a group of people and put them in charge of research and development. That is researching and developing new technologies and new construction processes that you can implement to remain relevant.
I was listening to an interview with a guy, and one of the things he did was red teaming, and where he acted as a consultant for corporations, and he took a team of professional hackers and tried to figure out how to take down a company, to find the seams and the gaps in their security. Is that something that large companies should be investing some time and energy in, to find out where the gaps are in their security? Data security specifically?
Absolutely. There are companies that conduct those kind of external intrusion attempts. There's actually a company out there that's called White Hat, and they do that very thing. You should certainly have a data protection system, like an intrusion detection and prevention system. The one I like is called Alert Logic out of Houston, Alert Logic. But you can also have a team that actually actively tries to penetrate your data network and then tells you how to fix it. That's my favorite one's White Hat.
I think that would be a pretty cool job.
I actually did that for a little while.
Yeah? Was it fun?
Yeah. It was a lot of fun.
I can imagine. Well, we're just about out of time. I appreciate you taking the time, James. This has been a tremendous amount of information, extremely helpful. People are probably going to need to listen to this a few times to ingest it all. If they want to find out more about what you're up to or get in touch with you, where should they go? What website, Twitter handle? What's the best way for them to get in touch with you?
Sure. JamesBenham.com, JamesBenham, JamesBenham.com. You can also hit me up at Twitter. That's at James M. Benham. So JamesBenham.com, at James M. Benham. You can check out our company corporate site at jbknowledge.com. It's JB is my initials, James Benham, jbknowledge.com. You can also check out our products, smartbidnet.com. One of the other ones I mentioned today was smartreality.co, smartreality.co. And then if you want to check out what we're working on in labs, I talked about a couple labs projects we currently have. You can go to jbknowledge.com/labs.
Very good. And I think I saw you have some speaking engagements coming up. Where can people find out about those?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, we actually do. Yeah, there's quite a few coming up. I'm speaking at the 5th Annual AGC Missouri Design and Construction Technology Conference November 5th. I'll be at the Mechanical Contractors of Metro Washington, D.C. meeting November 9th, the CFMA ASA Greater D.C. meeting on November 10th, the Mechanical Contractors of Ottawa November 17th, and the CFMA of South Carolina on November 18th. Those are the next 5 events coming up.
Sounds like a busy schedule.
It'll be great. We're going to have a lot of fun, meet a lot of great people. Construction's a great business to be in.
It is. Great people. Well, I appreciate it, James. Great stuff. I'm going to have links to a lot of the things that James mentioned in the show notes for this, and wait till the end of the podcast, and I'll give out a link to where you can find out those all those links and find the notes. James, thanks a lot. Have fun on the speaking circuit, and hope we can talk again sometime soon.
My pleasure, Todd. Thanks so much for having me.
All right. Hope you enjoyed that episode. There was so much information in there. If you can't remember any of those links, much less all of those links, the technology that James mentioned, go to constructionleadingedge.com/034. I'll have the show notes posted there with a lot of the links and information that we discussed. Also, if you want to find out more about the sponsors for today's episode, first is Archisnapper. So if you're doing job site inspections or anything on a job site where you need to take pictures and you need to put it into a report, and you're currently doing it with your phone and Microsoft Word, and you have to take the picture, you have to upload the picture, you have to find the picture, you have to insert the picture, format the picture in Word, and do all of that stuff, save it as a PDF, and then distribute it, then you really need to check out Archisnapper. It is the best thing I've found out there. I can walk a job site, I can take pictures, go back to my office, or really get anywhere with a wireless connection, hit the sync button, and my report is magically formatted pictures, text, captions, etc. It's all in there, and then you can even set up a contact list, hit a button, and it'll distribute that report automatically for you. If you want to find out more about Archisnapper, go to constructionleadingedge.com/snap. SNAP. Also, if you're looking for a solution for tracking timesheets, listen, if you're still tracking timesheets with paper, God forbid, or you're using spreadsheets or text messages or email, if you're compiling this mess of information, trying to keep up with your hourly employees, then you really need to check out T-Sheets. They have a mobile app, they have a desktop kind of admin station, and incredible reporting capabilities, mobile friendly, smartphone friendly. You can use text messages to clock in so your people don't have to have smartphones. If they do have smartphones, there's GPS enablement, and it integrates with your payroll provider. Saves a lot of duplicate data entry. It is one of the few pieces of software that I've ever evangelized for. Love the product, love the people, they're great. I used it for about a 50-person construction company, and it not only did it pay for itself, but it gave, I estimated a 10x ROI. It cost a few $100s a month, and it saved a few $1,000s a month. It is what you would call a no-brainer. Strongly recommend you check that out. Go to constructionleadingedge.com/T-Sheets, and you'll find out more there. Both of our sponsors, Archisnapper and T-Sheets, both have initial free trials. Go check it out. Download the app. I'm pretty confident it'll help you out. If you like this podcast, hey, let me know. Shoot me an email, todd@constructionleadingedge.com. Hit me up on Twitter, @conleadedge. Again, to find the links and the show notes for this call, go to constructionleadingedge.com/034. My name is Todd DeWalt. Thank you for listening, and I'll see you next time.